Hey everyone, welcome to the Pawareness podcast, and thanks for joining me. This podcast is specifically for about educating and raising awareness for animals and rescues and organizations across the United States and world. It really goes a long way towards this mission when our listeners rate, review, and subscribe on iTunes, Spotify, YouTube, and all of our other podcast platforms. Also, be sure to check us out on our official website at pawareness.org and on social media at TikTok, Facebook, and Instagram at pawareness_podcast. You can check us out for all of our latest bits and clips of our podcast, as well as Pet of the Week and Pet of the Month. If you're listening and involved with an animal rescue organization or have a story of your own that you want to share, reach out to us at info@pawareness.org and we can get you on the podcast. Thanks for watching, and I hope you enjoy this episode. Hey everyone, welcome to today's episode of the Pawareness podcast. Today I have with me Harris Baker, and he is the founder of Catfluence. Never talked with anyone who does anything like what you're doing. And I'm just going to go ahead and let you get into it for the viewers. What is Catfluence and what exactly does it do?
So I guess in order to do that, I'll kind of backtrack a little bit. So I started working in digital marketing in 2014. At that time, I was kind of exposed to a lot of things in the influencer and brand space. And I had gotten 2 cats around that time as well. And I saw cats like Grumpy Cat and Lil Bub, rest in peace to them both. But they were some of the big ones at the time who got it started. And I had cats. I started working in marketing. I was like, oh, this could be a fun thing for me to do, to learn a little bit about marketing and just have some fun on Instagram. So I started doing that. I did that for a couple of years. Then in my job, I started to get very heavily involved in affiliate marketing, influencer marketing, brand partnerships, things like that. And I was doing it for lots of athletes and influencers, musicians, and I didn't really have control over it the way I wanted to. I was doing it for another company, and I saw flaws in the way it was being done. And I was like, maybe I could kind of try the same concept, but replicate it for cats. I was like, I already have my own cats with their own Instagram account. I can kind of leverage them as the proof of concept for it and kind of go from there. At the time, I had started a few other accounts. I had started like a sport related one, a music related one, some other pop culture related things. And I stuck with some of them for a couple months each. But this was kind of the one I enjoyed the most and I had the most traction with. Over the years, it's kind of grown into more. It was kind of just a hobby and something I did for fun at first. But since then, I've built out a website. I've had some cool partnerships with some cool brands and catfluencers and human influencers as well. And kind of what I like to say Catfluence is, it promotes everything about cats and tries to make it cool, whether it's cats and cryptocurrency, cats and athletes who have cats, celebrities who have cats, different things like that, and kind of just promoting everything in the cat community, whether it's art. And a lot of it is really just kind of things that I'm into and trying to break the stigmas around traditional crazy cat people. And I'm a little crazy, but I'm kind of a normal guy who's into this whole cat stuff too. So that's kind of what I'm trying to communicate to people.
That's awesome, man. And I definitely have a few questions. What are some benefits of someone starting an Instagram or just following around their cat? What are some of the benefits there?
I mean, for me to get started, it was definitely a fun creative outlet. I was working in marketing, but having an account that I had full control over, even if it was related to my cats, I was able to see like deep into what worked on Instagram, different social platforms as well. I think it's also a good bonding thing. If you have cats, you spend time doing photo shoots together, and some people take it to another level and have sets and green screens and things like that. I don't really do that with my cats. I kind of just catch them naturally doing things. But yeah, I think it is a good bonding experience. In order to get them to, stay still for shoots, you got to give them treats and play and do things like that. So if you're somebody who has, a hard time finding time doing those kind of things, I think definitely having an Instagram account in a way forces you to spend time with them, which you should be doing anyways. But it's kind of, again, a good creative outlet and a good bonding experience.
I never thought of it like that, but that's a really good point. It does kind of force you to, and I have a cat too, and I like to take her on walks. Like I've got like a cat stroller, everything. So That's really cool. And how does Catfluence work with, let's say, for example, someone listening, they're like, okay, well, I want to do this. What's the, I'm imagining there's probably like some vetting process that you go through and everything. What's that like?
Yeah, so I'm still and am kind of adapting as I go. I'm still fine tuning the best way to go about it. But I do get a lot of people reaching out to me and they just say like, how do I become a Catfluencer? Or can you get me brand partnerships or things like that? Definitely regarding like brand partnerships, a lot of it is based on, unfortunately, follower count. Obviously people could buy followers, you could buy fake engagement and things like that these days, but some brands are looking for accounts that have 10,000 or more followers, for example. And if you don't meet that criteria, unfortunately, the brand isn't going to be a good fit. But I do have some brands who some of them are just looking to get samples out to accounts or to different cat accounts. And they're willing to do that for free. Obviously on the flip side, there are some Catfluencers or even human influencers who maybe they have hundreds of thousands or millions of followers. They may charge for posting about brands and different things like that. So the way I do it right now, it's kind of on a case by case basis. If there's an account that reaches out to me, if I have brands in mind who are willing to do it for free or provide free products, I'll coordinate that. If they charge, or if the cat account or the human influencer charges for it, then it kind of makes it a little more difficult and I have to kind of personalize things a little bit to them. But yeah, I'm all about, building connections. And sometimes a lot of people just reach out to me and they just want their cat featured on the account, which I'm happy to do. Most of the time I'll ask them to share a specific piece of content with me. Right now I'm focused a lot more on Instagram Reels because that content seems to be performing best. But a lot of times I'll just share people's posts, my story, and I'll say, I can feature you in a few months. I'm planning my content a month or two in advance. But I'll always make note of it. I have a sheet. I have a whole process around my content. So yeah, there are a couple of different ways I can go about it. And like I said, I'm still fine tuning it.
That's really cool. I think that's awesome. And that you have all these connections, and I think connections are so important. Where do you see Catfluence going? What are some of the things that you're really excited about now that we're headed into only a couple more months left of the year?
So I've been getting a lot into the cryptocurrency space. I'd love to launch my own line of NFTs where people can get them and that you get certain perks on my page. I haven't figured out exactly what they are yet. But maybe you have a certain token and you get a featured post every month or something like that. I'm seeing what a lot of these people are doing, like Gary Vaynerchuk and his NFTs, and people are making them experiential. It's not like you're just buying a picture of something. There's actually some benefits to it. Also, if you have one, you get maybe a certain amount of brand partnerships or certain things like that. So I'm starting to try to figure that out a little bit. Definitely like doing media stuff like this, hopping on podcasts, getting out there, getting more exposure for myself. One thing I definitely do want to do though is continue to help out with cats in the community and with rescue organizations. I donate my time with one organization once a week with Miss Pat's Cats. It's a TNR organization out here in Jersey. And once a week on Wednesdays, I go in and I help out with the cats that are there. I clean their cages, feed them, take care of them, play with them, do things like that. It's definitely long-term. I want to continue to do that and get more involved with the actual community and cat side of things.
Yeah, I think that's awesome that you have so many different facets. There's one right there. Yeah, how many cats do you have, by the way?
So I have two cats, Elliot and Olivia. This is Olivia right here.
She seems really friendly.
She is. Every time I get on Zoom calls or she knows when I'm on and she wants to get on camera.
That's cool, man. That's really cool. Yeah. Like, I mean, what would you say to, being a cat, like a cat owner, what are some things that you are just, I guess why choose cats over dogs? What's your argument? What's your stance there?
That's a good question. I mean, for me personally, I've never had a dog, so I don't know the difference. I would someday like to have a dog. But kind of the whole way I got into cats, and it's kind of a long story, but it was kind of presented to me by somebody I was dating at the time. I never had a cat. Actually, I did have a cat when I was like 2 years old. It was my dad's old cat, but I don't really remember it. But I got a cat through this relationship, and I didn't realize how much I would actually bond with them. Like they're very friendly. They're very loyal. As you can see this one here, she's sitting right on my lap right here while we're on a Zoom recording this podcast. So they're loyal. You come home, you have a bad day, and it doesn't matter to them. They just want to see you and be friendly. And I think that's really important. It's definitely helped me out a lot, especially during COVID and through some things that I've been through throughout the years. I think also it's good just to have the responsibility. The cats are obviously kind of independent. They can kind of go about their day. They don't need to be walked outside. Or you do need to clean after them in a litter box, but you don't need to go out and actually pick it up. But I mean, I would say definitely for the companionship aspect of it. And for me, as somebody who got cats when I was not a young kid, 23-year-old, but I was a little immature, didn't really know a lot about life. It's kind of imposed a lot of responsibility on me. And I think it's made me an overall better person, just having cats and taking care of something other than myself.
That's awesome, man. I mean, I couldn't agree more with Catfluence. What's one of your favorite parts about the project since its inception? What's something like that's rewarding to you?
I think so. I'll give you two things. One thing, I definitely enjoy the cat community. I've made a lot of friends, not even just business connections, but like good friends and people I talk to just through the DMs. And some of them, we don't even really know who each other are. We're all people behind cat Instagram accounts, but I mean, we support each other. We talk about personal things, but so I think being part of that cat community has definitely been big for me. One other selfish and superficial thing that I've definitely gained from it. So there are these DJs called the Cat Dealers. So I'm pretty big into electronic dance music. These guys, the Cat Dealers, I connected with them a few months ago. They were doing a show in Philly, which is not too far from me out here in Jersey. And they brought me on backstage while they were playing at a club in Philly. And their whole concept is it's called Cat Dealers. They're from Brazil. Their mom owned a cat rescue out there, and they grew up. They had like 9 or 10 cats in their home as kids. And they also kind of resonated with the whole cat side of things. And that became their name, and they're DJ Mag Top 100 DJs. And I got to interview them backstage and then go on stage with them. So that was a pretty incredible experience for me.
That's pretty sick. And
Yeah.
And where do you post most of your content at? Are you mainly on Instagram? Is that where we can find you?
Yeah, I'm on Instagram. It's at Catfluence. Also catfluence.com is my website. But I do a little bit of everything on social media. Yeah, I mean, I do TikTok, Twitter, Facebook, LinkedIn, Google. You can find me on Pinterest. I do a little bit of everything.
Yeah, and it seems like that you're pretty innovative in terms of like you're trying to you're on top of everything that's trending. You got the TikTok, you got Instagram, you're looking into NFTs. I think that's awesome. And what do you see any trend emerging or something on the horizon that you've yet to get into that you're, really excited about?
Definitely the NFTs, like I was talking about. I think one cool thing, and this is probably a very long-term thing for me, but I would like to get into, and these are popping up in different places, but like the whole cat cafe concept, I'd love to own my own someday. There was actually a cool one. I went into Chicago. I don't know if you've heard or seen of it. It was called the Catcade. And it was literally a cat arcade. They had old Nintendo and old like Sega Genesis and all those old Pac-Man type games, but they had different cats and you could come and play video games, hang out, and kind of play with cats. So I think definitely long-term, that's something I'd be interested in doing, whether it's a cat cafe or an arcade or some different variation of that. I think that's where I'd like to take this someday.
That's really cool. That cat arcade, that sounds
it's awesome,
amazing. Yeah. I'm from Illinois, so I feel like I have to check this out now.
Okay. Yeah.
But yeah, man, I mean, it was great talking with you. And I'm going to go ahead and leave a link. Anyone who's listening, check out his information below. All the stuff is there. Go ahead and give Catfluencer a follow. Follow him on TikTok. Watch all the stuff we're doing. Hey, man, thank you so much for coming on. It was a blast having you.
Thank you, Chris. Appreciate you having me.